Hello, my
Welcome.
children. I am back from the cave you locked me up in, and I'm
Wow.
back for revenge.
Today, everyone, we're talking about sci-fi. So Simon's doing his best evil, I don't know,
Evil Jesus.
futuristic, yeah, evil Jesus, something like that. Yeah, we're talking about sci-fi and prog and music and all things that way inclined. We've picked a few bands each, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat about them, a few albums, and just sort of talk about sort of sci-fi in music. Simon, what do
Do
you
we have
think about?
to? Well, do I have to like put down what sci-fi is? The,
Sure, science fiction.
yeah,
Futuristic, dystopian, like there's all different types of
there's a
sci-fi.
word to it, right? Science. That it has to be some kind of science involved in it to not become just fantasy. But
Yeah, usually
I don't
usually we're
know.
looking at technology and that sort of stuff as well. I should probably look it up. I mean, behind me, I think I've got like quite a few fantasy books, but many sort of sci-fi kinds of ones too. So I just have it as a taken for granted like topic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
But
I'm not a big book buff, but I've had periods where I read a lot of science fiction. Yeah, and actually, I have three picks like sci-fi albums, and they are all actually based on books. In my case, yeah,
these kinds of concept albums are definitely in the nerdy end of the spectrum. So for those
yeah.
watching, heads up. But yes, look, just to make sure, just in case people don't know what sci-fi is, maybe English isn't their first language, or I don't know, they live under a rock away from the nerdy world. Sci-fi says here is a genre of speculative fiction that imagines advanced and futuristic scientific progress and typically includes elements like information technology, robotics, biological manipulation, space exploration, time travel, parallel universes, and extraterrestrial life. So anyway, that's what Wiki tells us. So we're talking about albums that are inspired by this kind of world, or artists. And I do have three that I want to bring up as well, with a little special mention on the side. Do you want to hit us up with the first one, though?
Sure, I can hit you up with a the 1984 soundtrack of Dune by no less than Toto, that kind of did something completely different to what they usually did, because they usually did like, well, would you call it AOR with pop and prog and hard rock, you know, excellent musicians capable of everything. And also this album, I think, is not. It's it's basically a score, so it's not tracks. It's not. There's no Rosanna here, you know. There's this is futuristic, like how you imagine sci-fi in the 80s. I don't know if you've seen. It's like a. Uh, David Finch, is that his name? The director of this movie. Um,
I'm really bad with names of directors and actors and all of that sort of stuff, but it
David
probably
Lynch is his
is.
name.
Oh
David
yeah,
Lynch.
yeah.
And I've seen this movie, although a long time ago. And I mean, of course, Dune is I also read the books, indeed. Um, it is once again talked about because they redone it, the Dune movies. I don't know if they're on the second or third one. I saw the first new one in the theaters. I kind of felt that that was a snooze fest. And
Whereas I liked it. I liked it.
yeah, yeah. The friend I went with also enjoyed it, but I don't know if my brain cells are just deteriorating or I had a kind of a trouble with following the story this time. And I mean, because I was like, oh God, luckily I've read the books because then I could, follow it. But otherwise, I don't know if I would have. Um, and it, of course, looks heck of a lot better.
Oh
But does it
yeah.
sound a heck of a lot better? I don't know. I mean, I really like this 80s, it's very kitsch in a way. It's the acting is of course not good in the old 80s movies. It's very like overacted and
It's the
stuff
reason
like
I
that.
haven't
But
read the series. It's the reason I haven't read Dune is because of that first, like the movie you're referring to, the 1984
yeah,
one or whatever it was. It's like I watched the start of it and just went, "Oh my gosh, I can't do this," and so I never
But
did. But it's on my to-read list. Like and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
meant to do it and start it probably next year.
Yeah,
Probably
I
next.
quite enjoyed the books, and I read some other stuff by Herbert as well,
Mhm.
but Dune is absolutely the best stuff. I maybe read four or five of the books.
Yeah.
I know they continue in like forever, and his son also took over these books, and then apparently that's crap, uh, with like Sandworms of Dune, which is like the 10th book in the series or something. But yeah, that said, we're talking about the album here, and yeah, so it's very much score, lots of keyboards, great melodies, very like bombastic, um, and it also features some of like the narration, the intro of the movie is the same on the album, and I think that really it's maybe better when you just listen to the movie to the soundtrack and make your own
Mm. I'm gonna have to do
imagination.
this. I'm gonna have to do it. I haven't. I don't think I've listened to it at all. So I've seen it. I've known
Yeah.
of it, but I'm gonna put this on my to listen list. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my first one. I also love Toto, but I think you don't have to love Toto to enjoy this, and it's not per se that you enjoy this if you love Toto, because it's so very different from what they have done
Right. So
previously.
you're talking. It's more like a bigger composition. It's more soundscapes. It's more like imaginative, like music.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Like I'm looking forward to checking that out. I'll definitely do it myself too. I might start with my sort of special mention because I feel like I have to bring this band up if we're talking about like geeky sci-fi stuff, and that's Coheed and Cambria.
Mm.
This band is really it sits really weird for me. I did a lot of exploration on this band like last year, and they are incredibly hit and miss with for me. So this is a band that
Funny you say
released.
that. I feel exactly the same. It's like
Oh,
I've
do
only
you?
heard some stuff, and some stuff I thought, oh, this band is actually good, and then I listen to some other stuff, and I think, no, this is just not my
Your
cup of tea at
thing.
all.
It's really weird that before I get to the music itself, they release a comic at the same time as their albums, and so they have a comic book series that's following, this sort of structured, sci-fi sort of stories. So each one of their albums, from my knowledge, is all based around that. And for me, I've done some digging and really listened to a few, whether or not it's like the Vaxxas trilogies or Welcome Home or whatever it is. But for me, this band just I'll try to be quick about it. They at their very best, some of their best songs I would rate as good as anybody. Like I think they're that good, and some of them are just, and then the albums are generally speaking a little bit of a letdown. And I feel like you just have to dig so hard to go. There's something that's amazing, or there's something that's really good, and so I don't know. I've made a playlist of Coheed and Cambria stuff now, which I think is excellent. I really have, but in saying that, like, I mean, so for those that don't know what they sound like, I guess you've got a sort of high-pitched, sort of more nasally lead singer. He's incredibly charismatic. I think he's very unique, like interesting vocalist. I've seen him live, and he's fantastic live. In terms of like what he produces, it's very authentic. What you hear on the if you're streaming it or listening to the album. But and the music is can be really diverse, quite progressive in some ways. It's got a bit of a punky edge to it, can quite regularly have quite a bit of momentum, and when they want to hit hard, they hit pretty hard too. So I kind of get really excited about some of their stuff, and then, as I said, other stuff just sort of slips away for me. I think it's like No World for Tomorrow. I think it is the balls like. It's a sensational song, and I would highly recommend it to anybody. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That was my probably first band I wanted to talk about because I know they have such a big die-hard fan base, and I get it. I get the why people might like them, but for me, I just really struggle to connect properly, with the exception of just a few tracks. It sounds like you're the same, Simon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I haven't really
Done
deep
any
dived
deep
into it.
dives. Yeah. So I guess I should jump across then to something that I really, really do like. And this band is a band from if I just want to make sure I get it right, from Sweden. It's a band called Prehistoric Animals, and they're an alternative sort of metal slash rock band, and the album that I absolutely love by them is called Finding Love in Strange Places. And this album was released, I think, in 2024, last year, and it was one of my favorite albums of the year. Like, it was in my top 10 anyway, and I love it. It's I know it sounds a bit silly, but they say it's kind of meant to be Love Actually, like the movie, but sci-fi inspired. And there's stories of like a hit girl falling in love with a some form of a cyborg or something within it as well. And I just
The
think it's
album
a
cover gives a lot of uh, oh Jesus Christ, what is it called? This by Philip K. Dick. Do androids dream of electric sheep? What the Yeah, they've of course made this big movie based out of it,
oh
like Tears in the Rain, and they also made a remake
yes,
of it recently.
yes, I know what you're
Uh,
talking about.
Cyberpunk is based on that as well.
Yep. So this is very much inspired by that kind of world. You can think of it, look it up in the background and blurt it out in a second.
Yeah,
But look, this we're talking some pretty genty riffs at times. We're talking about some really thoughtful and playful sort of songs and concepts and ideas. There's just some really good stuff on it. And for me personally, like I loved Unbreakable. I thought Here's Number Four is fantastic. The Secret Society is another just great track as well. They just make for a really sort of fun, great progressive sort of metal-ish kind of album. And I cannot speak sort of highly enough of it. It also has yes, did you?
Blade Runner.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. But that would have just plagued us, right? Look, at the very end of the album, there's this one side thing which is nothing has changed, but everything is different. It's kind of like a Christmas carol. I don't know what to say, but I've added it to my Christmas playlist because I think it's one of the coolest Christmas songs ever. I absolutely love it because it's not all cheer. It's great. But anyway, so I love this album. I think it's awesome. And I think everyone should listen to it. If you like a bit of sci-fi, you love sort of stupid love stories, and the fusion of those two things isn't going to turn you off the music. So yeah, it's cool.
Cool.
You're up. What are you going to talk about
Yeah,
now?
yeah. So just like as expected, you're bringing the new stuff. I'm bringing the old stuff. And my second pick is actually, for me, a new discovery, but it is from 1978. And that is Alan Parsons' I, Robot. So
Oh yeah.
his take on Isaac Asimov's classic book. Um, yeah, so it's very like typical 1978 in the sense that it's a little less hardcore prog than the album that he released prior to it, or they, because it's actually a band, but yeah, 1976, uh, which was like very much hardcore prog. Excellent piece of album. I'm really like discovering his music or their music at this moment. But this one is, it's still proggy, and well, lyrically, of course, everything themed to that book. What you can hear is that they kind of use a little bit of disco drums because it's 78 and it seems like everybody did that at the time. Like, listen to The Wall, right? We don't need no education. It's also disco, uh, but, subtle. It was
Yeah.
just like, yeah. And no, it's just very high quality. It ranges a lot in the kind of music that they play. Sometimes it is also very well. It is for certain keyboard heavy, so it really get that sci-fi feeling. because I think that's what makes it sci-fi with put just a shitload of keyboards, right? Then it feels futuristic and
Yeah,
it
it's
really
that
feels like 80s
synthy, not
futuristic.
organic kind of sounds.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly. Of course, album cover is by Hypnosis, the ones that did all the classic Pink Floyd, etc. albums. Yeah, but, I don't know what else to say about it since I, only heard it for like 2 weeks or so. Excellent album. Check it out. Yeah, it's yeah. I wish I discovered it earlier.
The stuff I have prepared is, you're right, a little bit more recent. So just to say fuck you, like I have been listening to some stuff that's not quite so new. What about
Okay.
20 on 12 by Rush?
Ah,
So I told
I
you.
hoped you had it on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you I was listening to this like like a month or two ago or whatever it was in one of my
Yeah,
monthly
it was in
reviews.
my considerations for this episode as well.
Look,
Yeah.
it's cool. It's cool, and it's probably worth it because it's really the 20-minute epic that's like the opener or whatever of the and the title track
Did
that
you
sort
check
of.
out the comic that I
No,
linked you? No, all right.
no,
Because
I'm
it did.
terrible.
Because apparently it's an official comic that like
Oh
came
right,
issued from Rush with the story and like word for word of the lyrics in comic form.
because
And
I went back to the song itself and re-listened to it and really kind of was like, oh right, I didn't first listening. I got caught up in the music a bit. What's this about? So anyway, I'm gonna have to now because I've done a bit of reading on it as well and re-listened to it after doing some reading on it. So I definitely need to do that. I'm a horrible person, Simon. I
it's
just
all right.
forgot. I just forgot you said to do
I
it.
got half of the stuff still on my backlog that you talk about, so I'll get there. I'll get there.
But
But
it's
yeah,
pretty. It's cool, isn't it? Like it's quite the epic. And I think it starts off really well from like what were the opening lyrics? Oh, I can't even remember. But look, I really loved it. I thought it was cool. I think um, it also seems to me like it's got like a lot behind it. So I did a little bit of reading up on it, and it says here that we're talking. It tells a story set in the city of Megadon in the year 2112, after an intergalactic war in 2062 forces many of the planets to be ruled by a solar federation. Where individualism and creativity are outlawed. And so, if I remember correctly, it's like a guy finds a guitar, takes it to the temple, and is like, check this shit out. This is really cool. And then it's all about how, like, that's a bad thing. And he has to, like, become a creative, whatever it
yeah.
is.
And Dream Theater made a similar attempt of like basically the same story, just in a little bit of a different shape, but also
Yeah.
sci-fi, and in 2016 called The Astonishing. It's on my like wall of shame, like dishonorable mentions, because that record got me, you know, tracked. Like I didn't want to hear Dream Theater for a couple of years after I heard that album.
Right.
I just thought it was notoriously bad. I know some fans really enjoy it and have it as their top album of them as well, but most Dream Theater fans agree with me. Um, yeah, so that's on my watching, but it's the same story basically. It's just overly cheesy and too long, and
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to listen to it. And you watch, I'll be one of those people. It's like, what are you kidding me? This is
yeah, it's
amazing. Yeah.
possible. We're so different, and yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. So anyway, so I did put down 20 on 12. I think it's great. I think and it's the most recent epic piece of music that I've really gone, oh, I'm really enjoying that. So I'm really giving it
And
a
it's the
good crack.
oldest entry of today's podcast, I think, because it's from 1976.
Let's see. This is why you're around to tell everyone this sort of stuff. I'm here to
Yeah.
blunder through everything and make lots of errors. Okay, so let's jump across
Nice.
to one from you. Oh no, we're good. I'll
All
always
right.
be
So
condescending.
my number one pick
Yep.
is and here I wonder, like, is this is it sci-fi or is it fantasy?
Mm.
Well, whatever.
Interesting.
It's about aliens at least. It is the adaptation, or the musical or whatever you rock opera version of uh, War of the Worlds. Uh, so it is by Jeff Wayne. Jeff Wayne's The War of the Worlds. It came out in 1978, just like I, Robot did. Um, is same thing here. It's like it's proggy, but it's not full on prog rock. Also features some disco drums in it. But this is really like it's narrated. The dialogue is sung and sometimes acted. It's very easy to follow the story, so to say. Um, it features super cool guest appearances, I guess, by Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy, um, and also Justin Hayward from Moody Blues. I think they're yeah, and it's narrated by Richard Burton. It's just the incredible album, and it like if I discovered this as a preteen or something, I wouldn't listen to anything else because it's really captivating. It's very much so the music can be you know takes its time just like a old prog record does, but because of the story, even a young mind doesn't get bored by it, so it's yeah, it's super cool album. And indeed, like for classic rock fans, there's a lot of familiar voices to listen to here.
Mm.
And it is indeed, like, I think if you would put it like you read the Moody Blues is very much present. Like if you like the Moody Blues, you absolutely like this album, I'd say. Yeah, so the 78's uh, Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds is my number one sci-fi musical
Right.
pick.
Yeah, cool. I was going to say like I have dipped into, is it pronounced Arion?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
and I've done like a few of those albums. I plan to come back to them, so no doubt that'll end up like everybody
Arion
in the
was also my
comments.
considered,
Yeah, I reckon there'll be people in the
considered
comment
mentions.
section like making a few comments about that one as well. But I haven't done it enough to.
Which
I can't
area? And
I can't remember which ones. Like I did like
I mean, it's all
three.
sci-fi.
Yeah, that's right. So it's probably worth checking that out because lots and lots of people talk about it who love music like we do as well. But I was going to say, look,
My favorite is the Human Equation.
I think that's the
I
one
think
that
it.
I most recently did. I think that's the one I most recently did. Yeah, but no, I think that probably the another fantastic, and look, this was recently brought up by Ian from Rhyme Signatures. He brought up Parius, which they did
Hmm?
the signal heard throughout
Space,
space.
outer space.
Yeah, they know heard throughout space. And so I wanted to mention this. It again, it's a little bit more recent. We're talking 2022, and it's a pretty cool, fun like album. It can get quite heavy at times. It's quite like diverse. It's got lots of ups and downs. It's got a fantastic like the bass work in it's fantastic. I like um, and it's very much the sci-fi journey of like a guy picks up a random signal. There's some evil bad guy somewhere in it, and he goes through all of these things. And so, anyway, look, I think it's quite cool. I think it's good, and it's a bit of a laugh as well. It doesn't take itself too seriously, I don't think, but it's got some really, really good stuff in it too. So everything from I don't know. The Acid Lakes of Ganymede was one that's like super, like quite heavy at times. Tougher for somebody like myself to get into at start with, but it's just got better and better and better as I've listened to the album more and more. So I'm quite enjoying it, and I like the closing track, which is called Arecibo. So maybe check that out under Ian's recommendation, and I concur. I think it's pretty good too. That was my the other one that I really wanted to make sure that I brought up, and then I just have a few little things.
Shoot, man.
There's another band that I was recently exploring called Zio. This one was on after hearing another online, who was it? Online reviewer. They spoke about it and said it was great. And I looked it up. It's got no listens. I spoke about it earlier this year as well. But they do a really fantastic sci-fi album called Flower Tyrannia. Look, this band is a little bit more. What would I call them? Look, they're a bit lighter. They're a little bit more. I don't know. I'd call it like symphonic kind of rock. It's more like stage show kind of stuff, and the female vocalist in it could sing, for Disney. Like, she's got like that kind of a sort of a voice. But I think it's really, again, fun and cool. And I think that's the takeaway for me when I started thinking about this sci-fi stuff is very seldomly do I hear something that's sci-fi that's like super serious. And I kind of like the playful nature that sort of pops up in it as well. And look, Flower Tyrannia, I think, is really good. It's got some great stuff in it, but it could be a bit jarring for some. And I wouldn't be surprised if a few people find it a little bit tough. I think there's a line in it where she sings about her favorite cookie or eating a cookie or something. And I think some people would just be like, oh, are you kidding me? Why are you recommending this? But I like it. I think it's cool. And it's something that's definitely good, but it doesn't have very many views.
I guess I should mention Act's recent quadrology EP as well, since that is also, at least, yeah, it's post-apocalypse, but they go into space to avoid it, and then they come back. And it's my contender for number one, for album of the year. This most recent and final part of the quadrology. So absolutely, I should mention that one as well. I talked about it earlier on a podcast, but definitely check that out if you like. I would say dream theater that is not bombastic.
Yeah. If you're after something that's like dystopian futures and like worlds and all of these kinds of things too, then of course, something like Riverside's Wasteland is a good example of something that's dealing with these concepts of sort of like loss and being lost in, in maybe grief, but I see that as very much it's got that kind of vibe, and so that's something that's a little bit more somber, a little bit more serious that people might consider too. And look, I mean, the series that's actually there, just on the right or left of the screen, whatever it is, it's by Pierce Brown. It's called Red Rising. It's my favorite sci-fi series by a long shot. I'm actually rereading at the moment in anticipation for the final book, which should be released later next year. But I've read and reread these books quite a few times, and there was a discussion once on what sort of music do you think would set, like if it was turned into a movie or it was turned into a series, like what sort of stuff would be behind it? And so I had a chat with quite a few sort of people online who they're called the Howlers, if there's any out there, owl. It's quite interesting, but it got me actually exploring this a little bit. And there's Pierce Brown actually has a playlist of music that has inspired him.
Okay.
And so quite a lot of it's post-metal, right? And so, of course, when I start thinking of post-metal, I go to bands like Caspian or whoever, who I've been playing a lot lately too. And that's also where I would go. So whether or not it's like Caspian's Dust and Disquiet or whatever that album's called, and Darkfield, and that Caspian are an amazing band. Darkfield, I think it's called.
Oh.
Let me have a look.
Not the Steven Wilson thing.
No. Caspian is an American post-metal band.
Oh, okay. That's an album by them.
Yeah. Let me just.
Right.
I'll be real fast on finding it because Dust and Disquiet's the album. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's up there, and this is an artist that I would rate in my top 10 at the moment. And my favorite song by them is a song called Dark Field. It's instrumental and it is unreal. And for those who love those books and stuff, I think there's no better fitting sort of song for the theme or main character. Dark Field is killer. And Arcs of Command, Sad Heart of Mine, the title track, Run Dry, Separation Number Two, like these are all freaking bangers. So check it out if you like that kind of music. And it probably is one of the better. Look, you could put, if that album should be put on a sci-fi film.
Right.
Done. .com.
Hey, did you have more?
There's always going to. I didn't have anything other than like an EP by Toe Hider, which I thought was pretty cool, called, what's it called? Damn it. I can't remember. Oh, there we go. Space Famous. It's stupid. It's silly. Check it out if you want to laugh. Good music. Yeah.
What's your, like, aside of music, do you have like a favorite sci-fi movie?
Oh. I don't know. As a kid, I loved the Star Wars stuff, right? Like, so I'm talking the original episodes 4, 5, 6. They were hugely.
Princess Leia here.
God damn it, dude! Like we are more similar, we think, aren't we? But yeah, so there you go. So like, I loved the Star Wars stuff early on, but I also loved like series like Stargate or like a bit back. I did the Battlestar Galactica remake. The newer one that would have been around like
I've not seen the remake.
The 2000s, like the one that was released in like the mid 2000s, I think it was. That's I think it's great. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, is that a remake?
Yeah, the original was from like the 70s or something, wasn't it? Like maybe the 80s. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I realize it's old for many people now, but in saying that, it's that was a remake, yeah, and
Featuring MacGyver.
What about the cult classic? Firefly was amazing. And if you're talking books, Red Rising, there's no better sci-fi book.
My favorite movie, I've actually not read the book that it was based on, is Starship Troopers.
Oh, I love that movie.
Some people say that it's not high quality, but I mean it's a bit tongue in cheek, right?
It's so shit that it's great. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's it might be one of my maybe my favorite movie of all times.
Really? Look, I smile.
I'm in love with that movie.
That's cool. The second one is rubbish.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do not.
As good as the first one is, as bad as the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, the second one, basically, I could shoot that in my bedroom and do a better job, I think. I'd put it was that. Don't do the second one. But the first one's pretty cool. It was all
based in a tank or some shit. Yeah, it was just terrible.
Yeah. But there's so many, actually, now that all of a sudden they're saying, tell me, how could you not say Aliens? Like
Alien, absolutely.
Aliens, Aliens 3, even the Predator movies. Predator movies were great. Alien versus Predator had the cool factor and incredibly lame factor going on. But for me, like
Alien and Aliens and Aliens 3 also up there.
Yeah, they're top tier.
Shared first spot, I think. Yeah. A little bit. I think when you watch the first Alien, that the effects have not really, aged with dignity. With that little alien coming out of the belly is maybe not so terrifying as the first time I saw it, but for sure. And also when the alien is running around, like you can really see that it's, well, they have like an animated, like a cart,
Oh yeah, like really the Quasar.
They just put a double layer on the film, yeah. So like the special effects have not really aged with dignity, but yeah, awesome movie, and of course, like the Geiger, art that it's based on is just so cool as well.
No, I think so too. And that sort of goes back to, I think, Yeah, it was you. In one of our really, really early episodes, you pulled up the Warhammer thing, like the painting
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
40K universe when I was a kid and as a teenager was something that I fell in love with, right? And so,
It just looks so cool. Yeah,
yeah, that's right. And so nowadays I know that it's had a huge resurgence and it's actually quite a popular hobby now. But that 40K world is the grim dark stuff is pretty exceptional from the lore point of view, let alone everything else.
And of course these things are like they're so over the top, and so it has to be, spat on for a while, and then it comes back through, I guess, nostalgia or maybe or something like it's hipster.
Yeah.
It's cool to enjoy it now because it was so spat on for a while. I don't know.
Nerd
Yeah,
culture, like I think COVID
it
really,
always comes back.
COVID and YouTube and all the influencers out there that do that stuff have really like pushed some of these things like over the edge. It's like chess, right? Like I play chess as well, and that
Yeah.
is now an incredibly popular game compared to what it was just 7 years ago or
Yeah.
something. So it's
Okay, cool.
anyway, it's yeah. So what goes around comes around. Um, but anyway, thank you everyone for joining us on our sci-fi adventures today. Hopefully, we didn't bore you to tears. If you're still here, I assume you laughed along with us and were reminiscing a bit yourselves.
If it didn't bore you to tears, we'll do a fantasy one as well.
Yeah, well, there's a ton of fantasy back there as well. So I don't know if I've done too many music things on fantasy, though. I'd have to think about that.
Let it brood in your mind.
Hmm. Anyway, thanks for joining us. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. And yeah, like, subscribe, and help us out with the algorithm. We'd love that. You can find Simon at Simon's Album Reviews and myself at Prog Wanderer on Instagram as well. But yeah, we'll chat later. And comment below. Definitely comment below. Add your stuff because there's shit tons of stuff out there. Peace out, everyone.
Yeah.
See ya.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.